We got another Overwatch update, a director's take. It came out yesterday, June 16th, so let's get straight into it. So it reads, there's a lot going on in the world of Overwatch right now. Season 5 launched this week, and we've started releasing information about Season 6, also known as Overwatch 2 Invasion, with its story missions, new hero, game mode, and much more. This week we'll go over a few topics, Season 5 and the changes to the Battle Pass that we've made, the new game modes that we'll be releasing this season, with a focus on the 5-stack mini-season, as well as some thoughts on Stomps in Overwatch and how they relate or don't to matchmaking. Funny enough, the gameplay you're watching in the background was a Stomp. It was actually very brutal to play, and while it was not ranked, there was a clear issue in new players and old players being mixed here. I think it's very obvious by the gameplay. Anyways, let's jump into the Battle Pass. We've heard feedback that you would like to see more of the season's themed cosmetics in the Battle Pass. Our Mythic skin has always been a part of this system, and we've typically had several other themed skins. But for Season 5, nearly every one of the skins in the Battle Pass is based on Season 5's theme. What's more, we've also made changes to the Mythic skin. This season, it has been broken into several parts and scattered throughout the Battle Pass at different tiers, with the first unlocking at tier 45. We've also built a story into the Season 5's Battle Pass. At certain tiers, players will not only unlock an item, but also unlock the next part of Quest Watch's story. Not every Battle Pass will be like this. We're still experimenting with what feels best and what we can make and how we can make a season more fun. Going forward, we'd like to continue to evolve the Battle Pass to help it feel fresh on theme and exciting. This season, we're releasing several new game modes, 4 of them in fact. Defeat the Demon Lord, developed by Cactus Puppy, is our first ever creator-made game mode. We're also releasing a new Summer Games event, Winston Beach Volleyball. I'm super excited for Magic and Mischief, which is our take on Prop Hunt. A piece of feedback that we hear is that you would like the new game modes we release to have more replayability built into them. PvP game modes like Prop Hunt and Volleyball, by their nature, have more replayability, and our goal is for players to be able to jump into these game modes more often. The 4th mode we're releasing in Season 5 is our 5v5 ranked mini-season. This mode will require a pre-made 5-stack to be able to queue for a match. Internally, we're watching your reaction to this mode closely. This is a different type of competition and rating than our standard ranked mode. If this proves popular, it could open the door for other types of competition in our game that are based on teams, like an internal tournament system or mode. Or could potentially force us to take a harder look at the way we treat grouping restrictions in our current system. As we discussed this version of a competitive season, we also discussed the possibility of a solo duo mini-season. We ultimately moved away from that over fears that it could pull too many players away from the main ranked modes to degrade match quality and queue times. The 5-stack version felt like a safer mode to try first, although we'll closely be watching queue times here. There's a possibility that they get quite long depending on player participation. What this means is the top streamers like Flats, etc., who are all playing in top 500 and decide to play together in a queue or a pool that's already very minuscule will then split the high ranking. Like, high ranks are already a small percentage, and then splitting that high percentage is most likely going to cause a little bit of friction on queue times. But what's really funny there is that I would argue that the whole 5-stack thing is actually ideal in the high ranks more than anywhere else. But hey, if you want to grab some friends and play 5-stack ranked, I guess it could be okay. I don't know. We'll have to see how that turns out. It's definitely an interesting take. They go on to say, so Stomps. Stomps can happen in all games, and they happen in Overwatch. When a Stomp happens, it's easy to blame the matchmaker. The match felt unfair, so it must be that the other team was much better or worse than your own. That might not always be the case though. We've been collecting data and lopsided matches tends to happen at the same rate regardless of match quality, even in matches where the skill difference between players is less than 1 division. Have you ever played a match in Control, gotten globbered on the first point only to turn it around on the second and then win the match? During that first point, it's easy to think that the match was made incorrectly. The point of this example is that we think there are mechanics in Overwatch that contribute to matches turning out this way. For instance, the way ult charge is generated in the game is a snowball mechanic, and it can be very hard to stop the momentum. When a team wins a fight, they typically generate more ult, but they also get to dictate positioning for the next fight. They get to stick together without the same chance of getting staggered and as the loser. In the earlier example of Control, the reset between rounds negates many of these mechanics mechanics and puts each team back on a fair playing field for the next round. We are continually working on our matchmaker, but the biggest gains for perceived competitiveness in Overwatch lies in looking at our core mechanics and game modes and making adjustments here. More to come on this topic. That's it for this week. Talk to you all soon, and I'll see you in game. Oh, that's kind of interesting. That last point is kind of massive, because what they're hinting at here is that maybe they would add anti-snowball mechanics to make things less lopsided. However, in any competitive game, some amount of snowball or momentum is very important, or else you're not rewarded for playing well and playing with your team. But limiting these are of course still important, because they also feel not very fun. Like if the enemy has too much momentum and snowball mechanics are too strong, it can feel way too punishing to play against. And I am still calling a little bit of cap. I do think that their matchmaking is not that great, and especially even in non-ranked. So like here in my game, we just had a Bastion. I think they're just new to the game. My team was being toxic, but let's ignore that. I think maybe they're new to the game, or I don't know. Either way, they were playing like a bot, and I have no idea why someone like that would queue into, or why we would get matchmaked into that, even in their non-competitive modes, because I hate this fact that we only look at competitive. The entire game's matchmaking system should always be somewhat balanced, or else it's extremely not fun to play in at all. Now, I'm going to draw a little bit of comparison to Valorant, just because I also do play Valorant and cover Valorant. In that game, each mode has its own MMR system, and almost, not always, but a lot of the times they're very well balanced no matter what mode I go into. It can be as simple as a deathmatch, and it's still more well balanced than my average game of competitive Overwatch. That's just absolutely insane. And the whole discussion of matchmaking has been quite dropped ever since we started focusing on PvE and skins and Battle Pass. We were complaining about ranked for months. Actual months, and then we sort of dropped it because we're just waiting on Blizzard to do stuff, and I've heard it still doesn't feel very good. So I have no idea, so I'm going to do a quick little lame classic YouTuber thing. Can you please tell me, is your ranked games gotten better, or do you guys just not care anymore? Do you feel like maybe it's fine? What is your ranked experience? I don't have enough data or personal gameplay to say it myself, so I need to ask you guys, what is your ranked experience? Because I've been pretty turned off by ranked completely, so I'd like to know what you guys think. Furthermore, a big thing of the Battle Pass was also interesting. The fact that, I do need to give Blizzard a little bit of credit. They did make the Battle Pass more themed. There are more fantasy themed skins in this Battle Pass that are all themed around the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass feels very well themed, so I do want to make that clear. They did very good there. And I would also like to say, even though I don't like this Battle Pass's idea, in the sense of I think the story is kind of useless. I think it doesn't really reward me that well. Maybe I'm just not interested in it. I think that custom made game mode, again, no hate to the guy who made it, but it's very obviously a community made game mode. It doesn't feel special because of that. It just feels like another workshop game mode. All this kind of contributed to making it feel like it falls flat. The ideas were good, but the execution wasn't there. So I don't want to completely hate, because I do actually think that Blizzard's doing even more than some other games. I'll do another comparison to Valorant, where the Battle Pass is quite static actually in that game. It's just play, earn, that's it. It's like the basic Battle Pass we're used to. And I do think Blizzard finally did something that's carving out their own identity here. I hope that they iterate on it and just make it even better. I hope they don't go back to the basic Battle Pass. I hope they just make it better. They do something unique, and they push both its quality and engagement level up, because I think they're on the right track with the latest Battle Pass, but they just got to fix that execution and keep us a little bit more engaged. Overall though, that's about it. That's the developer update. Thank you guys for watching.